Hello everyone, it's me, Kiellie, the Unsupervised Junk Gypsy in Wichita, Kansas, and today we get to play with one of my favorite products, and it is the MetalSmith paint. If you've not used the MetalSmith paint, you are so gonna want to get some because they are so fun. And they create actual patina and actual rust. It's no hoax. It's the real deal. And that makes it super fun, in my opinion. So, let us... Just trying to get all my stuff set up. Okay. Hi, Jess! Alright, so the first thing that you want to do when you are going to be using your MetalSmith paints, which are these fun things, so fun, is you want to, of course, clean your piece. I like to use First Step Prep because I don't have to rinse it, and it's a really good cleaner, and you get it from Miss Lillian's. And then after it's clean and it's dry, you're going to need to prime it. Or are you? I don't know. Do you need to prime it? And which primer do you use? Okay. So if you're going to use metal, if you're going to be painting this on metal, you definitely want to use the primer. It's very important because what MetalSmith paint does is it forces the chemical reaction that causes patina and rust that normally forms in nature over a long period of time. And as we all know, anything that gets rust or patina on it, eventually it starts to get eaten away. So the primer that you use for the MetalSmith paint will block the rust or the patina from munching through whatever it is that you have painted it on. Because you don't want all of this in a few years to just be completely turned to dust by the rust, which is what will happen. So metal, definitely use the primer. If it's on cardboard, or chipboard or some kind of a paper, I would use the primer as well because it'll just munch its way right through there. Honestly, I use the primer on everything because I think it also gives a really good base for the paint itself and helps me with coverage. So there's two different colors of primer. Which one should you use? Doesn't matter which one you use with which paint. No. So this orange one here was made for the darker MetalSmith colors. Like the Ironsmith, which is my favorite. The Ironsmith, you definitely want to use this orange primer because it'll help with the coverage as well. With this gray primer, this was made for the lighter colors, like Mercury. So either primer will do the job, but I would definitely use it. It gives good coverage. It helps the coverage of the paint, which is good. And it's also going to stop the rest of the patina action from munching through your project, which it will do because we are forcing actual rust and patina to occur in a short amount of time instead of over years or months like in nature. So, this is metal. It's barn. I primed it with the orange primer. I used 2 coats so that I got good, complete coverage, and I made sure that I got it on the sides as well. And we are going to paint it with the red Mesa Sky. Well, just Mesa Sky. It's red. It's really pretty. To me, all barns are red because that is what I grew up with on the farm. All of our outbuildings were red. So, in my opinion, barns are supposed to be red. So, how do we get this paint ready to use so that we can get the best reaction from it? Question, is shaking it enough? What if I shake it like a Polaroid picture? Shake it? No. No. We can't just shake this paint because there are actual bits of metal in the paint. Hence the name MetalSmith. And metal is heavy. So it's going to fall to the bottom. And it's just going to sit there. So when we shake it, even though we're shaking it and we're doing it super good, and we're like, no, we've totally shaken this. No, it's not going to be enough. We need to really, really stir this well. In the picture I posted today, I had some bottles that were turned upside down, like this. And I do that when I know I'm going to use them so that all of the metal pieces that have sunk to the bottom work their way back up to the top. So I have an easier time stirring them and incorporating them into the whole jar. I'm not having to try to dig them up through the bottom and get them all the way to the top. Well, I'll paint it right if I can get it open. All right. Best thing ever. All right. Look at that. You see it? So pretty. So pretty. So I'm going to get myself a little container because I'm going to want to pour this into a container so I don't contaminate it. I am the queen of not treating my MetalSmith products the way that you should. What happens when you don't treat it right and you get contamination? This is what happens. This color is rusted oyster. That does not look anything like rusted oyster, does it, Chastity? No, it doesn't. Rusted oyster is actually a really, really pretty silvery golden pearl color. It's yummy. It is not this. It's not this color. So I'm guessing I didn't put the lid on it when I used some activator. And the activator probably got in there, and then I shut it, and it worked its way through, and it activated my paint. Don't do that. Don't be like me. So, I'm going to get a popsicle stick, and I'm going to start stirring. It's exciting. And I'm going to stir this really, really, really well. And just when I think that I've stirred it enough, I'm going to keep stirring it. Because you really cannot stir this too much. Okay. I'm not going to use my finger. Push all that off, put it in there because I would end up contaminating it with the lotion on my hands. I'm thinking today. Alright, not thinking that well. So now I'm going to pour this into my little container. I got these containers at Target. They were actually in the like home organization section. And it was like $2 for the set of 4, and they're silicone, so they're super easy to clean, and I love that. Oops, got hair. All right. And as I use this, I keep stirring it because that metal is just going to sink, and I want to keep it incorporated in this paint. Let's see, move that a bit so you can see. Not that I'm doing anything too crazy, but it is very much like the Miss Lillian's metallic paint in that you want to go one direction so that the metallic sheen is even and looks nice when you're done. And you do want 2 coats of the MetalSmith paint. You don't want to skimp and just do the one coat and say, oh, I got really, really good coverage. I'm just going to go with it. Do the 2 coats. Trust me, just do the 2 coats. Now I'm going to seal up. Oh, did I move this? Wipe down my mat. I have actually rusted this glass mat with the Ironsmith paint because I was activating gears on it. And I had to really, really scrub with like one of those dry erase, or the magic erasers for cleaning, and there's still spots on it that I didn't get up. So now I make sure that my surface is always nice and clean before I continue on, so that I don't unintentionally activate anything that's left over. So I'm going to seal this up. I really, really like the gloss press and seal for stuff like this. It works really well. I think it works better than regular saran wrap for this kind of stuff because it gives a really nice seal. Great. So now, any kind of activators that I use on anything else, I'm not going to contaminate this. Just I do that. Alright, so as you can see, that is actually starting to dry, and it's a really, really pretty shade of red. It's like the other Miss Lillian's metallic paints in that it will self-level, which is awesome. I love that. Okay. So now that we have learned that we need to really stir that paint, so that we incorporate all the tiny little bits of metal so they can do their job. Let's show you how to do the second coat, which is when you will also add your aging powder and your activator. So this is another piece of metal, just because I happen to have these metal pieces, so that's what I'm using. I used Mosaic MetalSmith on this. It's this beautiful shade of purple. And just like the barns being red, to me, old trucks like this are purple because my dad's first vehicle was a 1947 Ford flatbed pickup that he had painted purple. And he actually, it's still on the farm. It doesn't run, but it's still there. And so all old trucks should just be purple. They just should. And this is the gray primer. So this is what the gray primer looks like. And you saw what the orange primer looked like on the barn. So, and I used this earlier this morning, and still it's just like I just poured it. Love that press and seal for that. Okay, but I am going to stir all this really, really well. Actually, I might put a little bit more in there. So normally with the Miss Lillian's paints, and including the metallics, it's made to go on in thin layers. With this second coat of MetalSmith though, I like to put it on thicker, because the more that I move that brush and get it thinner, I'm spreading out those metal particles, and I kind of don't want that. I want to have a good concentration of the metal bits so that I know that I'm getting, let's see, what brush do I want to use? Yeah, I like you. Let's use this one. Alright, so this has been sitting upside down for hours, and it's been stirred and stirred and stirred and stirred. pretty. I love that color. Okay. Just going to put a little bit in, not much. Going to make sure that I close this lid so that I don't contaminate it when I activate it. All right, so I'm going to also stir this because it has been sitting. And I want to make sure that all those lovely metal bits are all at the party. Get some coffee. That's good. Okay. Your oyster looks like that too, Cindy. I'm glad I'm not the only one. We can just be rebels together. We're so rebellious. All right, so just like regular metallic paint, I'm going to put it on in one direction. But I'm going to put it on thicker than I would just the regular metallic. And if I get some in those little places, I'm really not concerned about it. I'm actually going to use a different MetalSmith in those areas. And I will show you how to layer because there is actually a method to it and an order. Get those little ridges there. There we go. Okay. There we go. So, cover this back up. I'm going to have to find some other things to use this on. Darn. I have to keep painting with it. That's just so terrible. Oh, like you. Okay. There we go. Nice and safe from me. Okay, so I write on my jars which activator and which aging powder I need to use because I can't remember, like ever. The only thing I can remember is the Iron Metalsmith. Everything else I don't remember. So Mosaic requires the turquoise activator and the bronze aging powder. With my coffee too. If you happen to not mark your bottle and you can't remember what you're supposed to use, you can go onto the Miss Lillian's website, go under the MetalSmith paints, and under each one will tell you which activator and which aging powder. I know, I used it today actually. So this is the aging powder. It comes in this cute little tin. But I keep it in the bag. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this. And you're like, but do I need the aging powder? I'm old enough. You don't have to use the aging powder, no. It gives the patina a nice little kick. So you get a really, really good, strong, bold patina. But you do not have to use it in any way. It is not required. It's just an extra added little bonus you can use if you want a lot of patina. And you can put it in concentrated areas if you know you want it to be really heavy in certain areas than others. You can control it that way. Okay, here's my turquoise activator. And see on here too, I wrote bronze, malachite, I can't pronounce that, and Mesa Sky. Those all use this. And actually there's a whole host more, but those are the excuse me, the only ones I have written down. So while this is dry, you're going to want to use this. However, oh, now it's working, kind of. So we can spritz it like this if we want to. Oh no, it's not spritzing very well. Why? Because, again, I'm the worst when it comes to taking care of my MetalSmith products. And see in there? See, it's got the little metal ball and the little spring. And I didn't rinse this out last time I used it because I forgot. I did that. So this rusts that metal. Crazy. Crazy. So I have to use it a different way. So let's use it in a different manner. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it into here so that I'm not dipping whatever I'm using into this container and contaminating it, which I'm pretty sure I've done too. Because I'm awful. So one way we can do this is with a toothbrush. You can also use these kind of hard bristle brushes here to flick it. If you don't want to spray it on. See, and I'm dripping it. And I'm going to put a nice spray there. And really, it's as little or as much as you want. Mess around with it and do this. Make it look like patina flames. Yeah! Okay. So, that's done. And you're like, wait a minute. It's not doing anything. I thought you said this was going to give me an awesome patina, and it's doing nothing. Chill. This takes time. I mean, in nature, it takes months to years. And you'll see it within 2 hours. So as this starts to dry, the reaction will occur and the activator will start patinaing or rusting all the little metal bits that we have in our paint. But it is going to take some time. It's not going to be instant. You can speed it up by using a hairdryer on cool, not warm, cool setting. But I personally have found that I don't get as strong of a patina if I rush it. I need to have patience and just let it dry. And honestly, I think this is like the only paint I know that is kind of fun to watch dry. Because you can see as it dries more and more, you can start seeing it activate. That's really cool. My boys love it. Alright, so we're going to put Truck there. And now we're going to come back. Oh, no, we're going to clean off our mat so we don't cross-contaminate. Because I do that. But not today. Okay. Baby wipes. They're the best. I actually had to go buy some because I was out. It's been a while since I had to buy those. So, something else that you can do with your activator, if you want to, okay, turquoise, which is what I was just using, is you can actually put it between the layers as well. So I'm going to use, I don't want that sponge. I'm going to use a sponge to do this. You can use a brush if you would like. You can spritz it, you can flick it, you can do whatever. But I'm going to use a little makeup sponge. Maybe. There we go. And I'm just going to put it into my activator here. I sing to myself. Anybody else? I'm easily amused. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to dab. Dab, 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 dab. And then I'm going to let it dry. And it's just going to give another layer to my patina with that second coat of red. Okay, put that in there, move this over. We're going to move this and let it start to dry. Oops. I don't want hard lines, so I'm just going to move that with my hands. Why not? You can layer MetalSmith, but it does need to be done in a certain way. The reason for that is the rust ones, it's really bossy. And if you put it on first, it's going to take over all of your other patinas and all of the other colors that you've done. And by the end of it, you're just going to have a rusty mess. And you're going to be a sad panda. And nobody wants to be a sad panda. So, if you do it in the right order, you can layer them and have something awesome. Like coffee. Okay. So this is just a metal bucket. Plain old bucket that I used Mystic, which is a really, really pretty blue. And it gives you this really pretty turquoise patina on it. Like that. And if you'll see, my bucket here has a lot of different texture on it. And I did that by mixing some Texture Magic, which I also love. Super awesome product. The Texture Magic, I mixed it in with the primer. And I made it really thick, like a paste, like a really thick paste. And then I used some palette knives to spread it on here. I did it this morning, so when I painted over it, it wasn't quite dry yet, which is my bad, but it's fine. Just gives some interesting crackles. So when you're layering, you want to use either the green or the turquoise activated paints first. So you're going to have to think it out and plan it out so that you know that you have your green or your turquoise. So you're going to paint it with that first color that you want after cleaning and priming. And then you're going to activate it. And then you're going to move on to your next color. And you're going to put that over where you want it. In this case, I want to use Old Santa Fe, which I haven't used before. And it requires the rust activator and the iron powder. So if you'll notice, some of mine have these little spots in them, even though I haven't used them yet. And what happened was, in shipping, the seal got broken. Because it happened with another one that I opened yesterday to check. So it happened with this ancient color, which is really pretty. And so I opened it up and I checked and it's fine. It's good to go. It does have a very metallic smell to it though. It smells like metal. It smells like iron. And that's because the seal got busted, so air did get in here and the air started to oxidize those little metal bits. It's still fine to use though. Don't panic. You can still use it. Make sure that you stir it super well. Like really, really, really stir it well. Get it all mixed up in there and it will be fine. You can still use it. I asked Marilyn. We're good to go still. Okay, so Marilyn actually developed this herself. She spent 9 months on the MetalSmith line alone. doing lots of tests and throwing lots away and perfecting this paint, and it is perfect. So see, look, that got busted just ever so slightly in shipping, but it's not a big deal because I can still use this paint. Yep, it smells like iron. And I've had this turned upside down. Oops. Ooh, that's a pretty color. I haven't used this yet at all. Look at that. It's like a nice old gold, but it's not super shiny. It's like a dull old gold color. It's pretty. I can't wait to use this. Over the Mystic, I think it'll be pretty. Making a mess. Actually, I'm going to stir that just a little bit more because I saw some little chunkies. I'm going to make sure I break them up. Okay. Gotta make your own sound effects, right? I really am easily amused. Okay. So with this bucket, because I knew that I was going to get all over this and make a mess, I made sure that I primed partway in and painted partway in so that I didn't rust out this inside part. Because if I'm going to take care to not rust the outside, I don't want to rust the inside. That would be silly. So I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to put this textured sponge that I got. It's a Miss Lillian's textured sponge that I cut into quarters. They're really good sponges too. I really like them. And I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to dab it, but I'm going to dab it pretty thick because I'm not going to do this 2 times. I know. You're like, but you said do 2 coats. I know. But I'm going to put this on really thick because I'm going to dab. Dab, dabaroo. Dab, dab. Okay, I'll stop with sound effects. Sorry. If you haven't used Texture Magic yet, you should. It's fun. Actually, I think I'm using it Wednesday. There's a live on Wednesday. I think I have a live on Wednesday. And I will be using the Texture Magic in it. I don't like that. There we go. Dab. I got a big nice crater here. I want that to be rusty. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Cover it up so I don't contaminate that. And now I need my iron aging powder. There's 3 aging powders. There's copper, bronze, and iron. There where that big pit is. Now you don't need to use this. You really don't have to use the aging powder at all, but it does give you a really, really nice boost, especially if you want things in certain areas. If you want it to be more bold in a certain area, it's really good for that. All right, and my rust activator. So they come with this nice little cap on them, and then you can put the spray cap in. Don't throw this cap away like I did on my other one, because I'm super smart and look ahead. That way, when you are done with this, you can put the cap back on, you can clean out your sprayer, and you can be good to go. Hey, Lishy. Okay. Need to get, there we go. Handy dandy Dixie cup. Guys, quit it. Sorry. All right, so that's the iron activator. I'm gonna use this brush this time. Yeah. Drink my coffee. Some places I'm going to drip this in because I want it to be really concentrated there. And if I hit it on the other paint, it's fine. It's not going to do anything. There we go. And if you want, you can dab this onto certain areas. Just know that when you dip this back into the activator, you're going to contaminate it. So that's why you definitely want to put it in a different container. Get it in these big divots. And now I have to wait for it to dry. Like, that's the hardest part of MetalSmith paint, is waiting for it to dry. It's the worst. But it is cool to watch it dry. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to clean this off. Okay. So this is that red mesa that I just sponged some of that turquoise activator onto. And as it's drying, you can see that it is actually activating, and it's going to give me a really pretty turquoise patina on this really pretty red. Stir this up again because it's been sitting here, and I want to make sure that I have a lot of metal particles in here. There we go. All right, so let's use this brush. All right, and since this is going to be my second layer, my second coat on this, I'm going to put it on a little thicker than I normally would with the regular metallic paints. But like the metallic paints, I want to go in one direction. And if you hear a really weird funky noise, it's my dog. I have a French bulldog, and he is noisy, very noisy, but we love him. Alright, sorry, there was a hair in that. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to put this on nice and thick, much thicker than I would much thicker than I would regular metallic paint. Okay. You know what? It will level itself out as it goes. Whoops. Getting that back on the right way would help. There we go. Turquoise activator. And while this is wet, we are going to make sure that we get the activator on it. I'm not going to put any kind of aging powder on this one because I don't want to, so I'm not going to. I probably have. So again, I'm going to flick. But I want to make sure that I get some into these little grooves that are here. Like the outline of the barn, because I think it'll look cool. Maybe it won't. If you like everything to be super precise and perfect, you need to get it into your head that that's not going to work with MetalSmith paint. It does have a mind of its own when it comes to where it's going to really activate well and what it's going to look like in the end result. So you can't force it. You can't force it to your will. Sorry. All right. So there's the barn. We're going to move that so that it can dry. And then we're going to talk about sealing. Do you need to seal your project? It depends on the project. If it's a tabletop, obviously that's going to need to have some extra protection to it. Oh my goodness. That's going to need some extra protection. And this is how you seal. After everything is dry, you want to first kind of get like a fine mist of a sealer over it. Because if you don't, when you go to brush on your luster, you're going to start moving that patina around and the powder that it's creating, because it's creating rust and that patina, and it's like a powdery substance. And you're going to start moving it around, and you're going to mess with how your piece looks. So, and I only have the matte one, but you should use the high gloss. So it's the Krylon spray, and you actually get it in the fine art section at a lot of hobby stores because it's not normal spray paint. It's what artists use to seal like their charcoal drawings and their pastel drawings. It's a very fine spray, and you just need to get a fine spray over it to set that patina powder, or to set the patina and the rust so that you don't knock it around and move it. Lackluster tends to really dull more than the high gloss. It's gonna dull when you seal it no matter what, because you're stopping the air getting to it, which is going to stop the activation permanently. So if you don't want it to just keep on over time getting deeper and darker and more rusty and more patina, then you should seal it. Do the fine mist first of the Krylon spray. High gloss tends to keep the colors a little bit better. Then brush on your luster. You can use your hairdryer on cool to get it to dry quicker, because you want it to dry quickly. And then it will be a little bit dull. If you want to try to rev back up those patina colors, you can use your hairdryer on a warm setting and not like super close to it. You know, you're not going to be like this. But, you know, keep it above and warm setting on a hairdryer, and you'll see that that green starts to come back up. The warmth kind of heats it back up, and it's going to bring that back up. So that will be good. And that's it. If it's like on these pieces, I'm probably not going to seal them because there is that top coat in here, and it is a nice durable paint. That top coat's awesome. I love it. So if you're going to do a piece of furniture that's going to get a lot of wear and tear, I would seal it. Otherwise, you don't actually have to seal the MetalSmith paint. And I think that's all of it. I had to like take notes because I couldn't remember everything. But I think that was it. If you have any questions on the MetalSmith paints at any time, feel free to ask in the forum group or ask your local stockist. We love to answer your questions and we love to help you. If there's anything that you would like a retailer to do on a live, message the Miss Lillian's page and let them know that you would like to see how texture magic is used or how to use gel stain, and we will find someone to do a live on that so that you feel comfortable with all of these products. And I think that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. It should be really nice and pretty, at least here in Kansas it will be. Yay. And we will see you again next week. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!